Hi YouTube. Okay, life got busy. I got behind on some YouTube Pagan Challenge questions, so this is going to be another one of those videos where I cover a number of questions in the same video instead of breaking it up and doing multiple videos. Alright, we left off on number 9 on keeping journals, so we're moving on to number 10. It's what do the moon phases mean to you? A lot of people get into some debate over moon phases. For me, the new moon is new things, new beginnings, new projects, anything that new I want to occur. Is when I try to plan for that in my everyday life, like launching new projects, but also when dealing with things in general as spell work or rituals. I also do abundance checks every new moon and bay leaf rituals during that time. It works out really well. Then we move into the crescent, and the crescent moon leading up to the full moon is when things are already in motion, and I will work for things to continue to grow, kind of like giving it a little bit of fertilizer. The next stop for me is, when we move into the Gilbert's moon, and that's when she's almost full, not really full. That's when I try to get things starting to wrap up, get them halfway done, get them filled. That's also times I'm going to work for things that, for me, is things that I need to grow exponentially. I use a lot of that time there for managing things and checking in and, dealing with different things that I'm wanting to grow. Maybe they're not fully grown yet, but they're mostly gone. Then we get to the full moon, which is Kabanch. It's everything, but it's also a time for worship for me. That's when, a lot of goddess devotions, a lot of offerings occur. That's when I work a lot during that time. Then we move into the waning moon, which is, starting to work on getting rid or releasing things and finishing things up. And during that waning time is when I start clearing things away and letting things go. And as she moves back to the balsamic moon is when I'm working on releasals. That's when I like to work on, separational things, dissolving things, letting things go. If I'm going to end a project that I don't want to return back, that's when I'm going to end it. And I try to plan for that to end during that time of the moon phase. Because, for me, it ain't just what magic can we do during the moon. It's operating within those timelines of, okay, this is when this should end. This is when this needs to go away. And then we move into the dark moon. And a lot of witches will go, oh, that's rest time. That's not a time to work. Very much it's a time to work. It's a time to work for justice. It's a time to work on the inner self and releasing and banishing those things that we're done with. And it's also a time for me to work with ancestors and ancestral spirits. I like to do that during that time because it's that quiet inward time that Our Lady, our goddess is taking. It's also the time for when we should be taking the inner time. So I look at that as a continual emotional thing. And that affects not only my magic workings, my rituals, my worship, but also my life, because I try to ride with that flow. And I notice that my emotions kind of begin that way too, because I can start, for me, I can sense it. I can sense when we're in a new moon because I have 100 different ideas. And when we're in a full moon, it's like, okay, this is what we're doing. And then by the dark moon, it's like, okay, I'm done. This can go, this can go, this can go, this can go. That's how I've noticed through my journaling and my psychoanalyzing myself that I tend to flow. The next question kind of brings up a good point, and it's, what does the sun mean to you? The sun has a lot of meaning for me. It's, a physical sign of the Father God, or God, or, what title you want to put on it. Hearn, Sun God, that type of thing. Some people see it as a feminine energy, which is fine. For me, however, I look at it more the astrological sense. When we get into March, we start You know, and it starts at Zodiac New Year's when I start launching new plans and new projects and then watching them grow and build. I'm also in Aries, which means when the sun's in my sign, I get more radiant energy. I see it as birth every day. I see it as life-sustaining stuff. But, you know, and allowing and working with where the sun is orientated within the astrological calendar really helps us set out our 4 seasons, our 8 Sabbaths. You know, they're all set within that pattern. So it's kind of the timekeeper. So for me, it's very much that way. Okay, and then this week's question, bringing us up to time, is what does this time mean to you? We're in Ostara. Ostara is fertility. It is growth. For me, it's hecticism because, you know, it's into April and, you know, we're in that Aries time, so I'm pushing out the work, pushing out the projects. I'm in the midst of one of my larger projects, Beltane Forest, which if you're anywhere near Charleston, West Virginia, come out. It'll be May 14th at Coonston Park. So, you know, I'm very much working heavy on it. You know, I've got the Aries flames going through with it. And, you know, I feel that rebirth, that vibe within the earth that's starting to go, hello, it's now summer. Let's go hiking. Let's go camping. Let's get out and enjoy nature. So we're up to date. I'm sorry I got behind. It kind of happens with Aries people because we have too much in the fire at a time. And, you know, we got to work on timekeeping, but we'll get better with that. So until then, until next week, hopefully, blessed be. Bye, YouTube.